Okay, as James corrected me, the homework assignment 4, it should be exercise 5.2 based on example 5.2. All right, that's a quick correction. I am very sorry if you already done 5.3. If you've done 5.3, then you can submit it. Okay, no problem. Okay, animation today. Okay, a little bit of animation, and then we will move to. Wait a minute. Let's try to do homework 5. Okay. Okay, cleaned up all the programs. Okay, I'm going to choose my shell 3.6. All right, and I'm going to create a new file. So what are we going to do? We're going to, first of all, import tkinter, everything. And then I'm going to make a bubble, class bubble, objects, the first definition that we need to do for bubble class is the initialization, right? That's for constructor. Hold. You look so surprised. Why? So once you have a class, then we know we can create an object, right? So that, for example, if I want to send the size of a bubble or size of a canvas, let's try to do for size of a canvas, okay? So can width, and can height. That is what I want to send, right? Then the definition init, init, if that is reserved word, then you need to have double underscore before and after. Double underscore. Not the single underscore. Double underscore before and after. And that constructor receives by default self. Self means this. That should be there always. Therefore, that object cannot be forgotten. Okay, the same object. For example, when I create a canvas width here 700 and the canvas height 500, then that canvas height and width should be taken here at the constructor function. So constructor of the class. So can width and canvas height that is received. So then we need to create a we need to also create a windows, which is a TK windows. Once you create TK windows, then we need to hold that TK windows throughout all the program. So we call it root. So root equals TK. So this is create a window. Create a top window. And the init is nothing but a constructor. Which constructor? That is an object constructor. Object constructor. I'm going to slide up. Okay. And also I need to create a canvas. So canvas, that canvas constructor needs some parameters. So first parameter is about the container. So canvas should be contained in what container? The top windows, right? So top window is now called root. So it should be contained in a root. After that, we need to define the size of the canvas. So size of the canvas, say width equals I received the canvas width here in this definition signature. This canvas width can W is nothing but this 500 here, 5,000. That is oversized. This when I call bubble 500, then it is passed to this parameter to an object constructor. Same thing, 500 goes to canvas age in this constructor. So when I create an object of a canvas, the width should be can W and height should be can height. And that canvas should be also called can. That is my variable, okay, local variable. There I'm going to make a red bubble and blue bubble. So red bubble equals, I want to make it as a create oval. That create oval is about that is a function defined in the canvas. So if you want to create oval, it should be called in this can. Okay, so can dot create oval. Circle can be, in order to draw a circle like a square or rectangle, we create it by defining XY coordinate of upper left corner and XY coordinate of upper lower right corner of the square that holds the circle maximum. We call that minimum bounding rectangle. Minimum means the container can be bigger, but what is the minimum container that holds the circle? Then that is called minimum bounding rectangle. But in this case, because that is a circle, we want to make it minimum bounding square maybe. Okay, so upper left corner I would say 10 and the XY coordinate, so X 10 and Y also 10. And then lower right corner I would say 100 and 100. And then I said that that bubble is red, so it should be filled in with the color. So color coded bubble. If you want to make it a red bubble, then in RGB what the code should be. Joe, tell me, what is the red that you like? Not the pure red, any red-like color.
Is it
FF? You want to make a pure red? Or a little?
I want A.
Okay.
1.
Hold on just a sec. Where am I? Okay, A51.
A3B.
A3B. Oh, it's interesting. I've never had that kind of red color. So let's take a look.
Somewhere low.
Can that pack? And then we can do root dot main loop. Then it runs forever. And then we save this in my in class. Where is my in class? in class and F17 rolling bubble 1.py. This bubble is not rolling yet, so we need to roll it down, okay? So let's try to run it. Run. Oh, this is a good red. I like this red. Yeah. It looks like a crimson color. Okay, since Joe chose the color of that bubble, I will ask him to roll the bubble. Horizon for it first. Roll it down. Roll the bubble. Roll it. That's animation, right? Right now we do some graphical user interface, but I want it keep rolling. All right. So how can we do? So we need to make another definition. Okay. The bubble class has initialization in it. So bubble is created. After that, we need to make another function. Function is roll it, right? So we call def roll. In order to call that roll, what should we do? Usually we have to there is a function called after, which is available in the outside, the top level windows. Okay, it's called the root. So we want to call roll, that is a function, but which role that we are talking about? So my role, then you need to say self.roll. I want to roll it, my role. How soon? Very soon, 0. If you want to make some time delay, you can put here 1000. Then ball is created and wait a little bit and then start rolling. So maybe 100 millisecond. 100 millisecond, then it's about 1 second, right? So if you want to see a little more dynamic, maybe 300 millisecond. So create a ball and wait for a second and then start rolling. We want to make a for loop, but in your example, in your exercise, in your homework assignment, there's another homework assignment. You can expand this program, okay? You don't need to do for loop, but you need to make a more scientific algorithm. A little later, I'll tell you what it would be. So for in range, I would say I want to move 1 pixel at a time, 1 pixel if it moves 1 pixel at a time, 1 pixel in 1 millisecond, then that is so fast. You don't really feel that the ball jump. It looks like ball is rolling, okay? Because our eyes can identify any object movement if it moves as slow as 1/16th second, right? Anything moves 1, for example, 1/30th second, then you don't feel any. But if you move 1 step in 1 second, then we quickly identifies, oh, it is not really a moving object, but you jump. Okay. Like when you watch some movies, if there is a time delay, then you see some distortion, right? Some image distortion, animation distortion. That effect comes from the time delay. So let's move it 10 pixel per millisecond. What is the size of our bubble? 700 width. The bubble initially drawn in 10.10, right? 10, 10. So if we roll it all the way to the right end in 10 pixel at a time, then 70, right? 70 times 10, that's a 700. So let's say I want to make 70 steps of that movement. So for each step, for 70 times, I want to do the following. What I can do is there is another function called a move function that is associated with the canvas. So there are, basically 2 important functions plays and make this the ball moving, rolling, make something being animated. Those 2 functions is, well, the most important function is move. And another function is after. So after is associated with the TK class, and move is associated with the canvas class. Okay? So we want to move within canvas. So move within canvas. Then what are we going to move within canvas? I'm going to move red ball, red bubble, so red B. How much are you going to move per millisecond? I would say 10 pixel, right? 10 pixel. I'm going to move 10 pixel only horizontally, then 10 pixel, comma 0, then 10 pixel. I want to move 10 pixel over x-axis, but no up or no down. So stays horizontally or vertically, right? Where am I? Yeah, stays vertically, no move up and no move down. But I'm going to move only 10 to right side, rightward. If you want to make it leftward, then you need to make -10. Okay? So this, what it does is that this, at every step, this 10 pixel is added to this 10 and added to this 100. X coordinate of upper left corner and X coordinate of lower right corner. This number will be added to this number and that number. So the very next position of this oval is 20, comma 10, 110, comma 100, if I have this. But if I have put here 5, then that also added to y coordinate of each. All right? That's what it does. And then that should be updated. Can should be update continually. Okay, I want to save this. And then I will ask you to see if it runs or whether there is any error. Before we execute it, can anyone say? Howard. Can you tell? What would be the error? Yeah, first of all, this canvas is not, this canvas, this can here, can is created where? Within this function, right? Inside this function. This is outside another function. So you want to harmonize them. As you create this canvas here in init function, you say, hey, that is my canvas. Say self. Okay, not somebody's canvas. That is my canvas. When I come here in another definition, still within the same object, I can say, hey, still my canvas. So self.can and self.can. If I use any root object here, root is defined in init function. So if I use that in somewhere, although they are in the same class, but in somewhere, then root is, because root is recognized within this function, local function, if we want to make it global, global is not global in entire program, but global within the same class, then you need to say self, like this. What else? So let's try to run, and if there is any error, then we can fix it also. When I do that, here's it. Right? What happened?
We didn't self-refund everything, like red V as well, it came down.
Right. Red ball is not also, red ball is created here, but I use that here. So you need to say, when I create here, then I need to say self. That is my red ball. And then that, the very same ball should be controlled in another function, still within the same class. So run. So what is the next issue?
Well, we have in self red V, you have equals can, and can now is associated with self dot.
Right. This is, that also should be self. Everything should be self. So when I have it here, can, click can, that all should be self. Here, that's fine. Here, can, that should be self. That should be self. This is okay. I already fixed. This one not fixed yet, so need to self dot. Okay. Same thing. Red bubble, self dot red bubble, self dot red bubble. Oh, looks okay. Let's try. Okay. So it created. Is it over already? Not doing? So that is done there, packed, after, main loop, and here, this role, also I need to say self, right? Remember that all the functions, when you create, you should have self. So that is done here. Okay, you see what happens? Red ball came up and disappeared quick, right? So what you need to do is that I want to do this a little bit slow. So we need to make some time control. In order to do that, we need to import time. Import time. And then time has slip function. So I want to slip, let's say 0.5, 0.5 millisecond before I move, so that I may be able to see 0.5 milliseconds. Still, that is animation. Okay. If you make 100 millisecond, then you can see, oh, that's an animation, because your eyes can recognize that. But in this case, your eyes cannot recognize it. Oh, this is a time delay, a little bit of a time delay. So you can see it's some of those, right? So a little bit of animation. Moving. See what happens. Oh, disappears. Where is it? Where is my ball? We dropped the ball. So maybe that is somewhere here. I moved 70 times. At each time 10. So let's make it a little smaller. So 50 instead of 70 times. Oh, that stops there, right? Stops there. So you wanna move it back, right? This is about 50 times. So you may be able to see, oh, let's move it to 55 times. And when it hits the right end margin, then you need to return it back. When you hit left end, then push it back to forward, bring it back, backward, forward, backward, and forward. Okay? So how can you do that? Here's some trick now. I want to make this a little faster so that 0.1 0.1 it stops there, right? So I want to make this 55 and a little more faster, so 0.08. Oh, I can do it a little further. Maybe 58. Okay, and then run. Go back. Oh, close. So, what about 60? 60. Right there. Now bring it back. Backward. So what you need to do is that, oh, can I do this backward? Let's say copy and then do this, but I want to make this backward. Okay. See what happens. Oh. It stops there. I need to push it back again. Back and forth, back and forth. I'm done successfully. Push it and bring it back. What can you do continually, forever? Joe, what should we do? While loop. Oh, thank you. So make while loop entire. So while true. I want to make true, and then push the new indentation, indent. Okay. Oh, very nice. Okay, now blue ball. I'll ask you to do blue ball. Make blue ball, okay?
Dude, I woke up the earliest yet. Tractor trailer. I come from Brooklyn, so I always that tractor. I go right into the Lincoln. I knew something was wrong. Yes, I hit that tractor.
He does have like,
Sit right here. Who's truck?
Johnny, while you're not here, we made the ball.
Oh man, I was waiting for that.
You missed the big one.
It's a big one, right?
See? Joe is rolling 2 balls.
I'm trying.
How come your ball is... Oh, you have some... What's that? Looks like a Pac-Man.
it's going too fast.
Can you make Pac-Man?
Yeah.
This sort of Pac-Man?
Yeah.
You know that old game?
Yeah. But it's just going too fast, so the shape can't keep up.
Professor, you don't put the folder on the blackboard.
No.
Why not?
That's there.
Put it on blackboard.
The video put it. Yeah.
Wait, what do you say?
You know, some of us are not like
I tried to do the blue one too.
It was not my fault this morning. But I know what
Who
happened.
made you?
James Deegan.
Deegan?
Deegan.
Oh. Major Deegan?
Yes.
So Major is the rank in military major, or
It was named after
his name is Major. His first name is
all the
Major.
bridges are named after John.
I know.
Real city.
No, I'm asking you. Joe, Major Deegan. So Major is the first name, or Major is a rank?
That's a rank.
It's a rank.
His a military name?
How do I have an invitation error on my comment code? SAT, do not see comment it up there. No. Well, that's for a block comment. Dave, do you not see that comment?
If that's the case, right, this whole thing should be married.
For a line of the block comment there, it should be it actually should be a different color. Maybe I was wondering. I don't know. Three quarters. Hold on. I'm the only one who's I have like a line there of like 1,000 subs.
That's not. Got a moving button. Can we make it into? No.
Christian?
Give you no idea.
Christian, can you help Johnny?
Yeah.
Before Johnny get mad?
Thank you, Professor, for your understanding. I don't want to roll over the man's charge and get mad.
Okay, blue ball. So I'm going to make this, copy, and then there should be blue ball, and can someone else let me know the code of blue ball, color code. Who can let me know? Neil, okay, thank you. Oh, there's true blue. Can you make it a little tricky blue? You wanna turn off red completely? I want you to mix all number so that some blue. Neil Diamond. 4169. B1, D1, E. So is it good blue? Let's take okay blue. Oh, that's good. Good blue. Okay. I want to make this blue in another position. So Y coordinates right now 10. Upper right, so upper left corner, X coordinate remains the same, but right coordinates a little. I want to make this 100, and therefore the other one should be 200. Okay, so that is my blue ball. Johnny, I'm now explaining a little slowly, repeating one more, so you can follow. So this is touch over there. So I don't want them to touch and collide. So make this 100, let's say 200, 200 and 300. Okay. Can you make a little, like a real oval? Push it down. So width same, but height little shorter. Then it should be 250. Okay. And then I'm going to do here the same way. I want to move it rather than red ball, I'm going to do blue ball. And same thing here. Copy and paste. Make it blue ball. What else can I do? I think that is pretty much what I need to do. So this is ball rolling right now. push it up a little bit. So this should be 100, and this should be 150. So it looks like some shadow, right? It's like a bubble shadow. If I want to make a real bubble shadow, then color should be, let's say, CC, CC, CC. That is gray. I want to make this a little bit so it looks like a real shadow. Wow, three-dimensional. I think this is animation. I'm going to while you are working on that, I'm going to
Yeah, that's a good move.
Okay. There's one thing that I want you to understand. I want to make it one print statement. Print self dot readable dot self dot can dot coordinates of self dot readable. I want to print the XY coordinate of that ball each time. So when I run that, can you see that? This is the ball rolling, okay? You can see the change of that ball position, okay? At certain points here all the way up to Y coordinate remains the same, but X coordinates 475, 6. It's reduced all the way down some, yeah, 10, and then it goes up. If you make it slowly, then you can see more clearly. How can you make slow? See here, instead of a 108, I mean 0.08. If we want to make 0.18, then we can see it a little slow. So code can be seen slowly. Okay, so it moves all the way to close to 700 or 6. Oh yeah, because we have a width of that, so 100, and then all the way down to that upper left corner. This will go close to 700. Yeah, 700, and this one goes down to almost 10 or somewhere. Yeah, 10, right? If you expand that a little bit, then watch this. This is too big. I'm going to make this small. Make it smaller. So 700 and 500. 500. Okay. How about this? This reminds you of some game, right? Right, that's possible. If you, there's a red ball, right? If you make some shape, one object, then it goes together. So this animation needs somehow algorithmic approach. What happens here is that when it touches, how do you know that touches? For example, okay. In this program, we make for loop only 60 times, right? But we do not know how many times it goes, because this way that rolls quick. Same thing here, so quick. This is very long, and this even shorter. Depending upon, this is really bouncing, okay? So ball rolling and bouncing. To make it rolling and bouncing, you need to make for loop not static but real time, dynamically. In order to get it, you need to use these coordinates. Okay, see here coordinates. Then we have not here, right? We can see some coordinate, XY coordinates. So that when that coordinate hits upper bound or right bound, lower bound, left bound, you need to identify at every moment the coordinates. If it hits any bounds, when it hits this bounds from east side, then you need to bounce back to the west side. It comes from west side, then you need to bounce back to east side. Same thing. All around, you have to measure that. So you algorithmically, you need to make that. Then it runs that way. Okay? You want to try? I may be able to give you maybe 3 weeks to complete this. So algorithmic thinking. This is not really you can see it pushed a little back, a little bit. That is because there's a speed. Speed is a little high. If we want to make a small speed, then you can see clearly. Let's make 10 each, like the one that we had. Then you can see right there, that's bounce, right? At the margin. But if you push it real fast, then for upper bound, it's a little different because there is a title. So I made some title. All right. Any question about animation? So what is the issue here? Animation, you need to make a time. Time should be imported, right? And then you make some sleep time. Therefore, you can control the speed of canvas movement, speed of object, canvas object movement. You can control this speed. So when you call this bubble, you can say, oh, I want to put the speed. So 1.09, okay, instead of this, and then I can say this is a speed. And also here speed. That should be received. Here speed. and originally it should be received by the constructor. And when this is called, then you need to call here speed also. So that parameter needs to be passed to the next. And therefore, when you run this, you can control the speed. Right now, that is point. So if you make this a little faster, say double. Oh, it's not really. Oh, there's a slow. If you put this slow, so slip longer, right? So if we want to make this a little faster than previously 0.09, let's make 0.03. So we need to slip. We need to let him slip short, so that it goes fast, like this. So that can be controlled here. So this could be a control box. Okay, when you create an object, you can control this. You can parameterize here not only this but something else as well. This range may be controlled, color may be controlled, everything can be controlled here. Okay? For example, this is a ball, right? So you can say red ball color. Then ball color should be received. That should be here. You can send point, whatever you want to do. Okay. I forgot that beautiful red color, but let's say CC 1188, whatever that is. Okay, comma. Then that is my color, and that is created. It's a different color. See, so the way that you put here, you can make different color. It's like a pink, right? I will let you see the code the way that I made. Okay, like this.
Okay, can you go top first? I lost where you had
Can make it small. I want to make this view. Zoom. Oh, okay. So okay. Okay, this is entire code. I want to make that smaller. So 500 and 350. Save. and run. Oh, then what happens here is that we need to change this. So this is a good example. If we fix this, right now, yeah, because of this is not relative to the size of this, right? Therefore, ball becomes hidden somehow, and then appear again. That's what you can see here. So that should be also parameterized. Let's say here, then repeat time. So let's say 50, and then that should be wrapped, and then that should be wrapped. I need to take it. I need to receive it. So wrapped. That should be sent here in this. Wrapped. So both should be received by initialization. So speed at last here wrapped. Okay. So I can control the size of the canvas and color and the number of repetition. Right now, we didn't take care of coordinates, but in real bouncing animation, you need to, rather than giving him a number of repetition, you need to check the coordinates. If that coordinate, x coordinate, for example, that hits left margin or right margin, then you need to change it at that time, the direction of that movement. That's what we can do. We need to tweak this a little bit. Rather than 50, maybe 47. Okay. No good yet. Maybe 44. I think it should be okay. Somehow. Okay? Something like that. Maybe 40 may be good. $41. How about this? See here, XY coordinates keep changing. So you can use this XY coordinates somewhere. If it hits here and there and upper and the angles, it's just coordinate between XY and X and Y. Right now we didn't move up and down, but if you change this to, for example, here, move, there's no movement along a vertical line. I keep it 0, but if you put here some number, then it goes also that way. Was it working once? No. Because you keep changing. You need to make a simple one running and then add. Simple one is not added. All your version. All your version is simple.
When you call, you send this to Bernie, right? So that's one thing. Another.
Yeah. Well, we could always put it on the record. You get that as well. No, it's missing. Why is it small? Yeah.
No, I'm too fast.
Oh. Serious.
Yeah, I didn't even calculate things.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
Oh. Great.
Yeah, I did it a little different. I did nested for loops to do it instead of
So you are
while loop.
okay. Now you will
Yeah,
do
so
it
like-
bouncing, right? All margins.
Yeah, so instead of like
Okay. Eastbound, westbound, northbound, southbound. Okay. Some algorithmic approach needs to be done. Then there is another improvement of this code. Okay. So you keep working on this because I'm going to ask you one bubble bounding all around as I gave you demo. Okay, that needs a lot of algorithm work. There is no one solution. There are so many different solutions available. Okay, it's up to you. I just saw a piece. He made some mathematical formula. Is that is possible? All right, let's move to another topic. So far, what we did is we worked on the canvas. Okay. Next, about an hour and a half, we're going to work on frame. Okay, frame. So stop that, and I'm going to create another. Editor, and then I'm going to make it here. bigger. Let's say from printer import everything. I want to make this a little bigger. Okay, it's big. So create a function called create frame. And with the width and height, so that I need to call it create frame 700, 500. Same thing here, the root equals tk. And now we want to create a frame. Create an object of a frame class. So far what we did was the canvas. Now we work on frame. Okay? As we to construct an object of a canvas, we need to put the first parameter to that frame constructor is the container information. So container of that frame should be root. Okay. After that, same thing. Width is nothing but W, and height nothing but H. All right. So I can say, oh, there is a frame. I can say top frame. This frame is in the frame you can put menus and some graphical components like button, so that button and text box or some labels. So you can enter some value into that text box and display something on a label, and there may be one or more button. So when button is clicked, then additional function is activated in response to user enter value. So that is a frame, not canvas. Okay, frame. So when you make frame, there's a frame size. Of course, there is a root, entire window. Okay, so this is a root, right? This is a frame. Inside this frame, you need to design the outlay, right? The best way that you can design, from my experience, is a grid layer, right? So that you can make some grid in your mind. Let's say I want to make this grid. How many rows? 1, 2, 3, 4, 4 rows, and columns. I don't know. You can decide 1, 2, 3, 4 columns. And then you can assign some ones here, or you can also span entire row, like this. This is another internal frame. So frame can contain another internal frame. This is an internal frame. This internal frame contains another internal and internal. All the frame. Internal means this is my term, but there is a frame. Frame contains a frame, which contains another frame and frame. And each frame, to each frame, you can assign something into that grid layout. Okay? So that needs a little bit of work. Of course, we cannot finish it today, but I want you to keep in mind that type of layout when you work on frame all the time. So you put here some button somewhere here, so it can be clicked. Okay. Save. File name, I would like to make it frame. So login frame 1. Login frame 1 .py. Okay. What I want to make, this is a building block. So you don't need to do, it's not like some other, it's not like a Java, okay? Java, then you need to initially create grid mechanism, therefore 3 rows and 5 columns. You need to make that way. But Python, you can add. As you add more, then you can simply add. You can increase and decrease as needed. So you don't need to plan it from the beginning. You simply add it somehow. Okay? So basically, as I said, frame can be can contain another frame. So there is a top frame. I would like to do upper frame. That comes from frame, but that upper frame should be in top frame. So container of that upper frame is top frame. So here in this case, Windows root, and I created a frame. I would say this is upper frame. Upper frame is contained in this frame that I just made. I call it top F, right? And then to make it nicer, I can make the background color. So BG equals entire frames maybe black. So 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0. So entire is a black frame. And I'm going to put there, say, the width and height. I want to make width equals same thing. W and height equal H, so that they're overlay entire. And then background should be in somehow red. What kind of red? Remember that I made previously CC 8898. I don't remember. Okay, there is a frame, upper frame. That upper frame, right now I said upper frame is contained in the top frame, but I didn't say anything about in what grid. So that top frame dot F, top F as grid row equals 0 and upper frame dot grid equals 2 and then somehow here I would say root dot main loop that goes forever. So let's see what happens. This is it, right? So I don't see any black yet because it is entirely covered. If we want to make a little smaller, then height should be 1/5 of that. Okay? See what happens. Height. Oh, there's a width. Height. One-fifth. And then we need to make a middle frame equals, I want to make a very similar to that, and then width is that and height is let's say 2, so 1/2, and then the other one is white, so I want to make it FF. And then that middle F dot grid equals row equals 3. So what happens? So looks like this.
How many zeros is that?
Which one?
First one, the first VG. 6.
I don't know what you're talking about.
VG equals.
He's talking about the background color.
Background?
Yeah.
Oh, you choose whatever you want. You pick the color that you like. Okay, here what I'm going to do in this, this is not really red, right? What's the name of that color? Terrible red? Oh, you have a good name for that red? Huh? Top frame? There I said, oh, top frame entire. Top frame this. And then I have the upper and middle frame. That's what I made there. if we want to make another low frame, then you can do here. Low frame in the top frame with maybe yeah, about that. One, 5. I would like this 10, and this should be 10. So 5. Four. So divide by multiply by 0.4. And then I want to make this something else. FF 7711. And then that's lower frame dot grid equals row equals 4. This. I want to make this more red. So RGB. So I want to make this 5 and 5. Right. And I'm going to label. So first label is that I want to write something on top frame. The text equals welcome to Mercy Cybersecurity. That one should be in grid row equals 0, and then column equals 0 on top. Okay, so that's just like this. Finally, because I write something on the top frame so that you could see the real background. The real background is in black, right? That's what you could see here. You can see here. I'll make some color of the fonts. I need to find out. not sure. Let's see if it works. Foreground and background. Foreground, I want to make it white, and background, same thing as I made 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0. I'm not sure if this works. Oh, it works very nicely, right? So I don't have that messy ones, but here, welcome to Mercy Cybersecurity. By giving here foreground equals foreground in white and background in black, that black is the same as that, so they look okay. I want to make this a little smaller. Is it? Okay, a little smaller. I want to make another label. In upper frame and text, I would like to say enter your ID. And grid row equals 0 and column equals 0. And then I want to make the box, text box. The text box can be made entry frame, so that you can say upper F I want to make that entry, and then when user enter ID, then we need to receive that ID as some variable, so that you have to do this. This is very, very important. You should say text variables. Text variable equals, so you can say user ID dot grid. I want to make it row equals 0 and the next column, so column equals 1. This text variable, that is very, very important. So before you use text variable, then you need to put here user ID equals string var variable. That should be declared. Python, we don't really declare before we use any variables, except in the GUI program for user entered value. If you want to use the user entered value, see here user ID, okay, then you have to make sure that is string variable, and that should be reserved in this, placeholder text variable there. That way it can be held. And then you can say here, for your debugging purpose, you can say print user ID. Where's my I think it should be here as we did here, row 2. I want to make this row 1. This is row 1. This is row 1. It's too light. Or color is changed. Oh, this is not upper. Oh yeah, it's upper. Right? Upper is row 1. That disappeared. My text box disappeared. What's the time? Upper frame. Upper frame. Another thing that you may do is pack is not really needed, but I'm not sure. Yeah, pack is not really needed, but our pink is disappeared. This black covers everything. So what we need to do, the other way that we could do is this, and I want to make this foreground and background. The way that I'm going to copy this to label foreground and background. Foreground and background. And background is not that. I'm going to make background. That is my background. So background is that one. And foreground. Let's see what happens. Okay. So color is not really well manipulated here. Foreground. Upper frame. That should be in upper frame, but I'm not sure why. So if I delete this, what happens? Doesn't look good. Take it back. Okay, as is, let's run. Oh, okay, there's some error. Create frame, 700, 500, top and pack. Yeah, pack, it's not really needed, as I said, right? So I'm going to, that comes from pack here. We don't need this. That is simply error. Peg is used for the canvas, but in grid layout, we don't need to do peg. So as we grid, already assigned to that container. So it is not really the issue. So let's see if I enter, say, John. Enter. John, it's not taken, but it's somehow like this. But don't worry about that. Okay. So we'll take it, that variable, and do some work. I'm going to remove this. Okay, next one is that we need to make a button. Button is also upper frame, and text, then you can say login button. And then background of that button is in red. And in grid, I want to make it row equals 1 and column equals 2. Next to that text box. So it looks like this. So Yun and enter, don't do anything, right? Because we didn't do anything here. But it's taken somehow. Yeah, that once. So login, and we need to put another login name and password, right? So we have to make that here. I want to copy this. And enter your ID and password. Label password. That columns 2, and this columns 3, and this columns 4. So all that way. And then password, user pass equals, again, string val. In this entry, you have to say here user pass. I think this is pretty much what it is. It's not shown. Grid entry. Let's see. entry. See here we have entry, upper text variable, the pass. This is entry. So I need to have another entry. Text variable user. Oh, user pass. User pass.
Can you see? Oh, it was too old. You can't turn them all off.
Okay. Okay. So I have user ID and password and login, right?
I'm an island.
Is it possible you can make the font bigger?
Oh?
Can you make the font bigger?
Oh, if it is bigger, then you don't see much. Like this?
That's better.
Better, but you don't see much, right?
We don't actually need the right side.
Huh?
We don't need the right side of the screen here.
Not much, right?
I have
Yeah, about this. Okay. I'm going to bring up the textbook that we have. So I'll let you know. Textbook is in scitesecure.org, right? Let me bring this up. 4 months. If you come here, then we have 505. Then there is a GUI. I think this is it, right? What I want you to take a look here. Here's the thing. This is GUI for temperature converter, and we take the input from user, so temperature input. So there's a string variable, and we have a button here. Okay, so they're all in some container F, whatever that F is. I think F is somewhere here. F is TK, the root. Not in the frame, but root directly assigned to root. So in the button here, say a command. When but this button is clicked, then command equals convert to C. What it does is that when this is button, then there is a function called the convert to C. This function is executed when this button is clicked. When another button is clicked, then another function is executed. That's what this guy is talking about. Another thing that you can think right now we don't need to worry about, but some sticky things. If we want to push all to left or right or center, then you can use this. But right now ours is simply all in center, so we don't really need much. So what I need to do here, when user enter login and password, then we need to check the credentials, right? Credentials. So then we need to create another function up here. Say def check credential. Okay? And then when this button is clicked, then you need to say command equals check credentials. So this is it. So that one is checked. Credential. Here you simply say label, like we did here. So I'm going to copy this. Label. I'm going to put it in the lower and says welcome to welcoming and plus user ID. So we need to make one space. And then we don't need to do this, or simply read, let's say what it is, right? Okay, here that one is not, low f is not defined. So in this way we need to make a class, but we didn't make class here. That's not known. So what we need to do here is that we need to make a global, because it is not understand. And also global user ID that should be understood. So I think that should be also global here. Must be string variable. Okay, must be user ID. Must be string variable. Okay, so I need to use that here, string. Must be string. Must be string. Oh, I see. Must be string. So we need to change it to string. Okay, so that should be str. Because we need to concatenate with the string. It shouldn't be a string variable, but just a string. That's what it is. Okay. Okay. Somehow it works. So we need to. Oops, where is? So what happens here is that when you enter here YOON, and then here password we made it, we didn't make it yet any hidden like dots instead of showing, but we didn't do that here, right? Say UN, and if we type login button, then that appears here. Okay, welcoming PYDAR25, that is the user ID. So we need to make it an visible string, but not right now. Okay, so basically the key thing is here. I want to make it a little smaller, very smaller, so that you can understand. So entire, I'm going to put it back for you to read it more and better. Okay, here create frame. So I give 700 and 500. So we take it here in this function. So in this function, we created three well, actually top frame, and then top frame holds three internal frames. So we call it upper, middle, and lower frame. We need to massage a little bit because it's not really properly emulated right now. And each one needs to be in some grid layout. Okay? So the top one is row 0 and so on and so forth. So and in that frame, we created labels and entries and button, right? So labels, we simply write something. Entries, we take something from user. And the button, action is taken. So action is, in this case, another function. So when you click this, another function is created. So variable needs to be passed from here to another, right? So rather than passing, we make it global. So lower F and user ID, in both cases, I made it global so that they can see if it is global variables. Okay. So next week, we're going to look at how we pass the variables. It could be much easier if we can make a function, right? But a little bit other issues here. So what I'm trying to do here, I'm going to make this comment out, and then I'm going to make it bigger back so that you can see that one. And I'm going to run it. Before we make this grid, then everything is disappeared. So leave it there. Okay.
You didn't pound it out?
Which one? Oh, I didn't. Yeah.
You did it. Okay.
I tested it.
All right.
So practice that frame. So what I'm going to do, as I said earlier, next week we are not going to meet.
Next 2 weeks, no meeting?
No meeting, but I'm going to post my lecture, video lecture on Blackboard. So still we move forward.
Yes.
Okay. Next week I'm going to finish up the Python. Next week is the last week of Python lecture.
Okay.
And then I will jump into the next module, which is network. So when it comes to network, we also do Python. Okay? Don't worry about Python.
No more shapes, all right?
No more shapes.
Great.
Oh, that's great. If you can make shape for each packet, network packet. And packets are bouncing back and forth on your canvas.
I wanted it a flash.
Flash also.
Toggle the flash. Off and on.
You can change the color. Then there's a flash. Flash.
But I'm not going to quiet. No, I'm getting
That's a Chinese homework assignment.
Well, that's
Only to
all.
Chinese. If everyone agrees.
No. No.
What is it you suggesting?
Yeah, right?
Okay, Chris.
Why doesn't this do? Alright, so this is happening, right? This is 700. Why? These are all basically, they're not all the same size, but they're close enough.
You guys got batteries? You got batteries?
Oh, never mind. No, never mind.
See, how many, there's a hexa code, it should be RGB. 6 of those. So you have only 5. Question. 6 apps.
I guess we can.
Maybe even the foreground. Instead of white, make it black.
Right.
And then the letter
Fonts.
is white.
Font's color, right?
Yeah, color.
Setting. Edit key mapping.
Yeah, I'm gonna play around with it and see.
Let me know if you edit key mapping, edit the syntax, select language.
I think maybe it would be better if you change the background right here, white to black, and then the font to
Right.
invert. I'll play that.
I don't know how to right now. So this is it for this week. Okay. So I'm going to see you virtually on Blackboard next week. Physically, I'm going to see you in 2 weeks.
I just want to know the end.